This rivalry game tomorrow is so special in your eyes?
Well, you know, it's special to play at Georgia Tech. It's a great tradition, great institution, all the great things that go with playing here. And then one day a year, it's extra special because you get to play against Georgia. And I think our guys have embraced that. At the same time, it's one game. But, you know, this one game means a little bit more, let's be honest. And that's okay. But what we have to do is play Georgia Tech basketball for 40 minutes. We can't get out of ourselves. And sometimes in rivalry games that happens. Throw out the records. You got two teams that are, you know, continually improving and getting better, and so it should be a great 40 minutes of college basketball.
With all but one of them, I think, on your roster from the state of Georgia, a little extra swagger, a little pep in their step?
Well, you know, again, our guys understand that, and it wouldn't matter once you put on the Tech uniform, you know, and you're playing against your rival, then it means a little more, and it should. I'm sure being from Georgia makes it a little extra special, but at the same time, we've had a lot of great players play extremely well in this rivalry that weren't born and raised in the great state of Georgia.
I guess the question a lot of people want to know is how is Mufon?
He's doing better. There's no question about it. We'll see how he goes today. Yet to be determined where he's at right now, but you know, the X-rays were negative, which was good. It was an ugly injury. There's no question about it. And at the same time, you know, he's a tough kid, so we'll see where he's at today.
You mentioned a lot of positives about going on the road for a number of days like you did. Did you come out of that gaining anything from that like you thought you would?
Well, I thought our guys, you know, I thought we played pretty well. For that early in the season to play 3 consecutive NCAA caliber teams, I thought we did a lot of good things. At the same time, it also exposed some of the things that we need to get better at. But in terms of building the team and our guys, you know, continually increasing the chemistry, which is so important, the leadership, which is so important, and also finding a little bit of that competitive toughness that I think is really key for our success. I thought it was a good trip for all 3 of those.
Can you compare Georgia to any of the teams you've played so far?
Well, they're a lot like us, to be honest with you. They're the only team that's bigger, more athletic, and deeper than we are, that we've played so far this year. They can go 12 deep and with 12 good players. Now, you know, they have a senior point guard. They have some good young players. They have some upperclassmen coming off the bench that have played significant minutes. And so, you know, they played 2 of the best teams in the country wire to wire. And so, you know, sometimes you look at some of the losses, you know, they're still trying to find themselves like we are. And so, you know, it really is it's a pretty even matchup when it comes to that.
You've seen some pretty good guards so far, Brandon Paul, Matthew Dellavedova. Caldwell Pope can score with the best of them. Is he somebody that will have to be a focus in one way or another?
Well, he's really, really grown over the last year as a player. Maybe a little more one-dimensional last year in terms of just shooting the 3, but he's, you know, he's able to put the ball on the floor. He uses ball screens extremely well. You know, for a guy his size to be able to utilize the ball screen in a lot of different options, he does a great job. He's also their second leading offensive rebounder at the 2-guard spot, you know, and he uses his length to create some havoc defensively. So you're talking about one of the premier perimeter players in the country in him, and that's why they recruited him, and that was, you know, he's living up to the billing. Sometimes, as I always say, you know, it's hard for freshmen in that transition year to make maybe as big an impact if there isn't a lot of players around him that have been through it before, and that's kind of what happened last year. But he's definitely coming into his own right now.
You've used a 10-man rotation throughout the short season so far. Have you had to make any major adjustments to that rotation, or is it just based on the feel of the game?
A little bit more of the feel of the game. But again, that playing time is earned a lot of times in practice, in your performance in practice. I think right now playing those 10 guys, we have a pretty good rotation. Gives us a lot of versatility in what we can do defensively and offensively. We haven't had to play small yet. We have that option if we need to. And we may have to, you know, in the games that are upcoming. But, you know, I think our guys have responded well to it, and I think it's helped us in a lot of areas. I think our defensive intensity is good, and I think we're starting to kind of figure out and come into our own on the offensive end of the court as well.
You had some
You got it, guys.
some lapses in defensive rebounding in a couple of games there. Is that something you're going to concentrate on?
Well, that's, yeah, you put that very gently and kindly. We've been out-rebounded 3 straight games, which is unacceptable at Georgia Tech. So we need to do something about that right away. And that's something that it has to be collectively. It isn't one person. You know, we teach to rebound as a unit, and sometimes you have to give yourself up where you're not going to get it, but you got to make sure your guy doesn't get it. And we need to get a little better at that, because defensively we're getting better, but you need to end that possession with a defensive rebound. And when you defensive rebound, we become a much better offensive team, because although we may not be the best fast breaking team in the country, we're significantly better than we were, and we need to get some of those easy baskets, and that's created off your defense.
Does move on game time, or we think of later?
I would say probably be game time. We're going to see how he does today, and then again, when it comes to this stuff, just so everybody knows, that's up to him and the doctors. I don't make that decision. That's up to those guys.
You assume he goes until he tells you, or he
Yeah. If he says he can't go, then he can't go. You know, Mufon is a senior. He's been our starting point guard for 2 years. He knows what he can do and can't do. And the doctors went to a long time, it's a lot longer than I did in school, so they know better than I do too.
If he can't go, I guess that puts more of a load on some of the other perimeter players.
Well, I think everybody has to pick up the slack from
Yeah.
there. I don't think it goes to one person. I think we have to have multiple players step up and help us out in terms of not only ball handling and offensive efficiency, but also defensively.
Talk a little-
Start
go ahead.
Pierre, if you didn't, if I couldn't find.
Yeah, we would go with Pierre and slide him in there, but we would have to use, multiple players. Pierre can't play 40 minutes, so we'll have to use multiple players and do some different things.
I don't even know if you would know yet, but if you had to play today, or do you think you'd be able to go, or is this
Knowing Mufon, I would say he'd make a go of it.
Yeah. I know you're always trying to take steps and build things here. Is it a step, or is there, is there meaning in beating Georgia 2 years in a row?
Well, it's another win for us this year, and we haven't played at home in seems like forever again. So it's important that again, we need to, take the steps as you said, and protecting your home court is a big step. Again, you just go out in games like this, and for 40 minutes you concentrate on one thing, and that's just to play as hard as you possibly can, and then a lot of times good things happen from there. So they talk about all the different aspects of what happens and who wins, or whatever the case might be. What it would be for us and them, it would be the same. It would be a step in the right direction in terms of continuing in the process of this season, and hopefully that's what we're trying to attain.
We saw some progress from Brandon Reed on that trip. What did you see from him, and especially on the defensive end?
Well, he's done a great job defensively. We've put him on some tough coverages, and he's responded extremely well, and I think he's learning that he can make an impact on this team without ever making a shot. And then when he does make some shots, it makes us even better. And you got to control what you can't control. Your defensive effort, your rebound, and your overall energy is something that you're in complete control of every single day. Can't always control if the ball goes in the basket or not. It's not like our guys or any player in the country tries to miss shots. So it's important that he understands that he's very valuable to our team, irregardless of what's going on the offensive end. And that's maturity. Mature players understand that, and I think you're starting to see Brandon and a lot of guys in our program mature.